So without further ado, I'm going to invite our first speaker up, and really excited to have him on board because he's kind of navigated a career internationally, now in the UK. Liam Wedderburn is the Senior Manager of Commercial Sales at 6 Sense. 6 Sense is a fantastic value proposition in terms of identifying and understanding the signals in your accounts to help you make decisions on who you should target next in your sales process. He's got a huge amount of experience being both an AE and a leader, and I'm super looking forward to his 7-minute talk. So Liam, I'm going to invite you up to the stage.
Thanks, James. How you doing? This is great. Thank you. Excited to be here. You're right. It is end of quarter, and this is a welcome break from the send receive button. Right. There's only so many times you can hit that and see if the contracts have hit the inbox yet. So excited to be here. Excited to be chatting to the team. Everyone, I've been following our comments along. I'm Liam Wedderburn. I lead our commercial sales organization for 6 Sense in Europe. So really excited to be chatting with you today. And hey, also really excited for the learnings that are going to come today from Yasmin, from Raj, from Ali, from the rest of from George as well, who's coming up right after me. So some really good stuff. And actually, I'm going to start with a bit of a challenge, right? And it's a challenge I face regularly, but maybe a challenge I'm going to pose to everyone here. That challenge is trying to decide what to prioritize, right? What do I spend my time on? It's not easy, right? And I think what will be easy today is to get a whole bunch of good ideas from the team that are speaking, right? And leave here with loads of things you could do. What'll be difficult is figuring out what are the 1 or 2 things I should prioritize. What are the 1 or 2 things that are really going to have an impact on my game, on my business for 2023, right? So that's the challenge. You got to take that big list of all the good ideas and hone it down to the things that you're actually going to put into practice, what you're going to do. And James, maybe I'll keep going on your accountability piece, right? I know you've been talking a lot about that. Maybe the challenge for everyone is to send James a quick email afterwards with like, what are the 1 or 2 things you're going to prioritize, and we'll find a way to publish or hold people accountable, right? Which I think would be really cool. Okay, so let's dive in. I really wanted to talk today about some of the learnings that we're seeing at 6 Sense, right? What's working for us, where we're seeing traction, what's going well, and maybe where you can apply in your day-to-day business, right? So this presentation actually started in November as a conversation with a gentleman called Kyle Coleman, who's head of marketing at Clary. So another great sales conference partner, and shout out to Clary. If there's anyone from Clary on the line, great tool that I love to use. But we sat at dinner in November and we talked about, hey, look, the market's tough. What do reps need to be doing right now in order to be successful? And we came up, frankly, with 3 ideas that are easy to say and maybe a little bit harder to put in practice, right? So I'm going to run us through them today, and give a couple of ideas that I think can help us all be successful this year. So let's dive in, right? Number 1, and this is an easy one. And I should have known that my PowerPoint builds wouldn't work on Hopin. So that's a learning for me. The first one is choose the right accounts, right? And I also call that, hey, get ahead of the inbound. This sounds obvious, right? But actually, I was at a Pavilion revenue leader dinner last night, and it's not. Let me tell you, like, people struggle with where to focus and what are the right accounts to go after, right? So what I'm talking about here is you got to place your bets in the right area right now. When the market is difficult, we got to make sure we're focusing on accounts that can buy. So have my built on the right-hand side. What should you be doing? Revisit your book of business. Who bought from you? Who bought your technology, your software, your services in the last 18 months, right? Who are the people who can buy right now? I would make a strong argument, and we are talking a lot about it at 6 Sense, about we got to focus on companies that can buy right now. And maybe it sounds a little bit harsh to say avoid companies that are having a tough time, but I will say, actually, yeah, if companies are having a tough time, we're seeing reduction in headcount, we're seeing layoffs. Unless you've got a really strong, specific reason to be going after them, I would argue we should probably avoid those companies right now and focus on accounts that are on companies, on industries, on segments that are seeing growth and are doing well, right? Because they are out there. So that's the first one. Let's focus on the right accounts. And that's all static data, okay? Who's bought in the last 18 months? Who's not suffering in current economic trends? Where do I want to spend my time? The second part of that is looking at dynamic signals, right? And I was going to play a game here, but again, my builds. So I was going to ask you these 3 potential opportunities, one MQL, one MQL and a pre-MQL, and then 4 people who are looking but have an MQL. Which one of them do you want to receive? Okay, so you can see my answer, but maybe I'm going to ask you anyway. Pop it in the chat. You've got 3 potential opportunities there. Which one do you want to receive? And actually, you can see what I'm picking, but you can go against me if you want. I'm really interested to know what your honest answer would have been. Would you have picked the MQL on the left-hand side? Would you have picked the 4 pre-MQLs? Chuck it in the chat what you would have picked. See if anything comes through. I'm trying to keep up there.
There's a slight delay in the transmission, Liam, so there might be a few moments before the comments come through, FYI.
No worries. I'll keep an eye on that and see what comes through. So you can see on my argument is that we should always be picking that one on the right-hand side. We should always be picking the one where we've got those 4 pre-MQLs, those 4 people who have an MQL, who haven't come through as a lead from a marketing team, but are showing some level of interest. Why? 2 reasons. One, if you can look at an account that's in your book of business and you can see that there are 4 different people showing some level of interest, that is very unlikely to be a coincidence. Okay, very unlikely. So there's something going on there. There's some level of intent. The second part of that is there is an extremely low correlation between MQL and opportunity, right? Under 10%. So I'd say we want to receive that one on the right-hand side of that bullet. The point here is to seek out those accounts where you're seeing some engagement, right? And I'll click through that just for time. So what do you do to choose the right accounts, right? If you're using some kind of intent platform in your business today, focus on those accounts that match your ICP but are also showing signals, okay, of being in market. If you don't have that kind of intelligence within the business, focus on ICP accounts, as we talked about in the first slide, that have bought in the last 18 months that you feel that you know can buy, but look to get ahead in terms of timing. Focus on accounts that are showing early interest, right? Your marketing team will be able to help you with understanding that. Where are we seeing content downloads? Where are we seeing web visits? Where are we seeing some traction, webinar attendees and things like that, right? So use that information and collaborate with your marketing team to get ahead, right, of that inbound. Okay, keep moving. Second, multi-thread like your deals depend on it, because they do, right? Again, this might be an obvious one, and certainly something we talk about a lot of the time, but I wanted to bring that 6th Sense statistic that you see in the top right-hand side. When we, at 6th Sense, when we multi-thread at least 5 contacts into an opportunity, our new business win rate increases to 60%. That's massive, okay? We spend a lot of time talking about this. Again, if you're using an intent platform, use account level intent data to get a holistic picture of the buying group. And when you've got that buying group, make sure you're engaging them with relevant content based on what they're looking at. If you don't have that tool or platform or any kind of intent in your business, use Sales Navigator to uncover your buying group based on key personas and then engage them with buyer persona relevant content. Okay, so like content that you know is relevant to that buyer persona. Last one, engage the CEO and CFO in all cycles. So I'm going to talk a little bit about MEDDIC here, right? Because if we apply that MEDDIC framework, this is economic buyer, okay? It is more important than ever to uncover that economic buyer in your deals. And I'll tell you a 6th Sense story here. So historically, we sell to CMOs, CROs, SVP of sales. We still do, but right now in the current market, we also sell to CEOs and CFOs, right? Your economic buyer might be a little bit different based on what it is you sell, your ticket price, right? But there's a good chance for many of us here that economic buyer will be the CEO or CFO, right? So what do we need to do? Uncover them and engage them, right? So make sure it's not enough to just know who they are. You got to engage them and do it early. You don't want to get to the end of the deal cycle only to be shut down by the CEO or CFO, right? Absolutely not. So engage them earlier. Your champion should be playing you in there, right? And I'll argue that there is no better test of a champion than whether they can get you that meeting with an executive level. And lastly, don't go it alone. Use your win team, use your executives, your executive team, your VPs, your managers to help you make that connection and bridge that gap into CEO, CFO. Okay, in summary, place your bets on the right accounts and be led by the data right now in terms of who you believe can buy. Multi-thread early and often. Use your team and your champ to engage economic buyers early. And we do that, you'll be on the right path to winning more deals, crushing your quota. And if my gift works, like Leo here, you'll have lots of fun tokens to spend. All right, James, that's me.
Amazing. Thanks for a great start, Liam. Big fan of Leonardo. Great pick. Great gift. Thanks for opening up the event, and we'll bring you back on the Q&A shortly.
Absolutely.